Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today's episode 3 of my first ever YouTube video series channel. For those of you who do not know me, or if it's your first time tuning in, my name is Mark. I'm a Colorado native, born and raised. I grew up, obviously a long, lifetime Bronco fan, Nuggets fan, Avs fan. Growing up, I went to Grandview High School here locally. Graduated from Metro State University downtown here in Denver. So I'm about as Colorado as it gets. And so I really utilize this time and this mini little platform that I have to be able to just, have a conversation, shoot the shit with you guys, talk about different hot topics in the world of sports. And it's typically going to revolve mainly around the NFL and more in particular the Broncos. So thank you guys for joining me. I very much appreciate it. And we'll get right into it. So as I said, today is not only day 3 of my channel, but it's really day 3 of what I'm calling Broncos Rebuild 2024, right? Finally, 7 years delayed at least, waiting for this moment instead of, spending all these years that we've been spending band-aiding and just putting a band-aid over some problems and the change in ownership and the lack of ownership before that and just no continuity, trying to find a new veteran quarterback to, see if we can put him through football rehab. It's not happening. It's done. This team last year, they finished 8-9, and they very much overachieved, considering the type of talent and the type of roster that we have. I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, but it's just the truth, everybody. Like, the team's never been that good. We were lacking talent. And so we need to not only trim the fat in terms of getting some of the guys that don't fit our culture or just haven't been winners since they've been here, but also be able to get some equity, get some picks to be able to revamp the roster, get some young guys, some fresh blood in here, and really build things the right way with some continuity. And so today was another step in that process. The Broncos had dealt wide receiver Jeudy over to the Cleveland Browns for a 5th-round pick. I believe it's pick number 135, and a 6th-round pick, which is in the early 200s. I think it was like 202 or 203. So they say that that's equivalent to a 4th-round pick. Personally, I would actually rather gotten the 5th and the 6th like we did. I would have preferred that over getting just a 4th because, as we know with the draft, it's a dart throw. It's a crapshoot. So this gives you an extra dart to throw, and you never know. You can package them up and move up if you are targeting somebody, but I think it gives you a little bit more ammunition. So certainly, I'm all about that. I think it's another wonderful move, whether it's Sean Payton or George Payton or Corey Rager, the new GM that's making some of these not just decisions, but just giving the advice to make it. I think it's the right move, guys. It's the way that the Broncos should have done this a long time ago, particularly in 2017 when we actually had a lot of really good young talent. We never wanted to embrace this. It was always about trying to win and living under this um, facade and fantasy type of mindset of, oh, we can just spend our way out of things or continue riding the ship, and it's not happening. So we finally have continuity from what it seems like the coaching staff, the GM, obviously with ownership, and hopefully that starts to trickle down. So it's going to be ugly. It's going to be tough in the interim stages. I'm not ready to make a prediction on how the season is going to be. Some people are saying 4 wins. Some people are saying it's not going to be much different than last year. Guys, it's so early in the process. But what I can tell you is that the way that everything was set up and with the team that we had before, 8 wins was our absolute ceiling. So this needed to happen, specifically with Jeudy, who I'll never forget when we selected him. I was probably staring at the same exact computer, maybe even screen, FaceTime with a buddy of mine who's a big Crimson Tide fan, and I was thrilled that we got Jeudy. I wanted him. I was so pumped. I've always tried to have his back, but I've just realized that he is, he's kind of like a new BMW in a way, right? Or just a BMW in general. It looks good. It looks shiny. It sounds like it's something that you want. There's a lot of hype around it, but ultimately you get in it and it just kind of sucks. Or it really sucks when you're looking at it, and it's in the garage. So, and I mean the mechanics garage. So same kind of thing with Jeudy. He just never got it going. He's kind of got an attitude problem. He's somebody that people claim are always open, or the quarterback can never get to him. But a lot of the times when he's open way after the quarterback's going to have any time to get the ball to him, or just late in the route. He's not really a good blocker. He doesn't have that killer instinct. And to think that we chose him over guys like CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson or even Brandon Ayuk is crazy. It's crazy to think. So I wish him all the best, obviously, but this is a move that needed to happen. I think that there are going to be plenty more moves to come. I think Sutton is probably going to be somebody that we trade depending on how the draft goes, or at least release depending on how the draft goes. That would be my big prediction there. But also, when you think about it, guys, it's not just about the fifth and the sixth, right? It'd have been great to get a higher pick, but the fact that somebody is willing to take on that full $13 million and free up that cap space, that's really the biggest key, and that's the most important part of this because you've got free agent wide receivers, like just name a couple off the top, like you got like Calvin Ridley, you got Darnell Mooney, you got KJ Osborne, is somebody I talked about earlier today. Uh, Gabe Davis, Tyler Boyd, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, you got some of these other guys too, but you've got these guys, and you can get probably two guys for that $13 million that you're saving. But in my opinion, I think somebody. I don't think a Ridley really makes a lot of sense, but Darnell Mooney I think makes a ton of sense. KJ Osborne I think makes a ton of sense just because of the body type and the type of position that they can play. Uh, Gabe Davis, not so much. Tyler Boyd, a little bit older than what you'd want. And I think Kendrick Bourne is probably one of the more underrated players. He just unfortunately got hurt last year, but he's really good. So there's a lot of really good young players that you could easily not just replace Jerry Jeudy from a talent standpoint and from a production standpoint, but get for a lot cheaper and still be able to build around. But most importantly, still be able to make sure that Marvin Mims is taking that next step in his development and being able to play too. So I'm not worried about it at all. I think the $13 million in savings is a lot more intriguing to me personally than the fifth and the sixth. But like I said, it's great ammo because this is a team that had only 6 draft picks. Now we got 8. Hopefully we can get close to 10 or 11 before the draft. Highly unlikely, but maybe some trade backs. So great move overall. Really excited to see kind of what else happens next. I think that there's going to be several more moves, but the timing is going to be tough. And I think the Broncos are going to be a little bit more active in free agency than I think a lot of teams think or a lot of people think. We already have $27 million in cap space, which, if you know how cap space works, it's a big facade. It's really just fake. It's super easy to manipulate. But the way that the cap space works specifically with new contracts is the first year of a player's deal is typically doesn't count much against the cap at all. Like for example, last year we signed Mike McGlinchey. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think these numbers might be a little bit off. We signed for like an $80 million contract. It was good for like $17 million a year, but he only counted against $6 million against the cap last year because with the signing bonus and pushing the money down the road, that first year is really easy. So really $13 million could get you, of those receivers that I listed, it could get you 2 of them for less than that in this next year. Now I don't think we'll do that. I think we might get a receiver. We might get a swing tackle, or obviously the quarterback is coming. With a little bit more about that later. Some depth defensive linemen, some depth pieces, maybe a safety that you like. It's going to be able to get you a lot in year one in that too. So it's going to be exciting there. And like I said, a lot more moves that can come depending on how the free agent market shapes up. Depending on all that, we've got. You can do some things with Zach Allen's contract from a restructure standpoint. You could do something with Ben Powers' contract from a restructure standpoint. You can obviously make a decision on Bowles. You can decide to move on from Sutton, or maybe do a restructure and an extension with either of those guys. DJ Jones is somebody that could easily be cut, or contract can get redone, or maybe even traded. So there's a lot that you can do to free up more, but I think we'll have a little bit more of a waiting game to kind of see how the market plays out and see what players that we can retain and not. As for the next couple of days, as free agency starts here on Monday, what I think is going to happen, what you're going to see first is you're going to see 2 moves. One of them is going to be re-signing Will Lutz. I think that's going to be a priority. We might get that done beforehand, but I think signing Will Lutz is something that we can see happening as one of the initial moves. Whether it happens later or earlier, I just think that's something that I feel pretty confident about happening. And you can definitely see a veteran quarterback coming. And I think that there's a lot of options. My personal gut tells me I think it's going to be Sam Darnold. That's actually who I would prefer of a lot of these free agent quarterbacks. I definitely don't want anything to do with Mac Jones. Please, for the love of God, don't go down the Kirk Cousins route and try to repeat your mistakes. Um, but there's a lot of guys. Jacoby Brissett is somebody that I'm really intrigued by. Here's what I think the difference between the two are. I think if the Broncos were to sign somebody like Sam Darnold, that would mean that they most likely won't take a quarterback in the first round, or if they do, it's going to be late first round or move up into the second to get somebody like a Bo Nix. So I've been talking about fits Peyton's offense, and I think is probably Peyton's favorite guy, him and JJ McCarthy. If you get Jacoby Brissett, then I could, or somebody like that, a little bit of an older veteran who's actually really good. Jacoby Brissett's actually a pretty dang underrated quarterback. So he'd be a really good bridge. But he's like the ideal quarterback to have and also draft a first round quarterback. So I think that could be really telling. I think if we get somebody like Jacoby Brissett, you can almost bank that we would get a first round quarterback. And then you really let Brissett and Stidham kind of battle it out for that backup role. Stidham only going to carry a dead cap of $2 million. You'll actually save $5 million by getting rid of him. So he will be competing for backup position. Anyways, that's what I think is going on. I appreciate you guys joining. I don't like to make these episodes really longer than 10, 15 minutes because I know that it can, people got things to do and it's always easier to watch shorter videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please feel free to like, comment, and if you enjoyed what you saw, be really appreciated if you can hit that subscribe button just to really be able to start organically growing this channel. And we definitely looking forward to free agency. So we'll make another one of these soon and have some updates. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening, everybody. Peace out.